could soon come to an end. Moments ago, House Republicans voting to pass a bill designed to fully fund the government through the end of January. It comes after weeks of bitter standoffs between Republicans and Democrats, primarily over health care subsidies, only broken when several Democratic senators sided with Republicans, with some believing they gave up too much. The next stop for the bill is the president's desk. Ryan Nobles has been tracking the shutdown since it started and kicks us off tonight.
Hey, Tom, good evening. And you're right. The House of Representatives now passing that funding bill that would fully fund the federal government through the end of January by a margin of 222 to 209. There were 2 Republicans that voted no on this measure, but 6 Democrats, somewhat surprisingly, crossing over and voting with Republicans to vote yes to get the bill over the finish line. The House Speaker Mike Johnson speaking tonight shortly after the vote, saying that this was an unnecessary drama that took place here in Washington over the past 43 days, and saying that hopefully this means that the two sides can now come together to work on a wide range of issues, and that will be necessary. Because this bill only fully funds the government through the end of January, there is the possibility that we could be in a very similar situation here in the next couple of months. Now, this bill does fund 3 different parts of the federal government through September of next year. It also fully funds the SNAP program through September of next year, but some of the biggest federal agencies that create some of the thorniest issues in Congress, departments like the Pentagon, the Department of Education, the Department of Health and Human Services, and of course the Department of Homeland Security, are issues that still need to be resolved before now and January. This, of course, was an issue that was centered around health care, and health care was not addressed in this funding package. Democrats were holding out with the hope that they would see some sort of an extension to the tax credits that are tied to premiums related to the Affordable Care Act. They were insistent that Republicans come to the table and negotiate around that. Instead, the only concession Republicans made was that the Senate would vote on a package extending those credits sometime in December. But there's no guarantee that Republicans will support that measure, and there's no guarantee that even if that bill were to pass the Senate, that it would even come up for a vote in the House. But Republicans have said that they are committed to finding a path forward. President Trump has also said that he is looking for a path forward. He is expected to sign that bill later tonight. Once he does, the government will be back up and running, but it will be some time before the impacts will start to lessen all across the country. Tom, that's a look here in Washington. We'll send it back to you.
Now to the breaking news shaking Washington today. 20,000 pages of documents from the estate of Jeffrey Epstein were made public, and in several of them, Epstein emails about Donald Trump, shining a renewed light on their history. The House Oversight Committee obtained the documents using a subpoena, and this morning, House Democrats released 3 emails that mention the president and until now have never been seen by the public. Gabe Gutierrez reports from the White House.
Tonight, the White House is pushing back after House Democrats released emails from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, putting new scrutiny on President Trump's relationship with the late convicted sex offender.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong.
In 2011, 4 years before Trump announced his run for the presidency, Epstein emailed his co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Redacted names spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned." The White House says the redacted name is Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's most prominent accusers. Giuffre, who died by suicide earlier this year, never accused Trump of wrongdoing, writing in her memoir Trump couldn't have been friendlier.
It is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign.
In another newly released email after Epstein was indicted on sex trafficking charges, he wrote this about Trump in 2019. Of course he knew about the girls. He asked Ghislaine to stop. The president has said he broke with Epstein years before Epstein got into legal trouble and kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago when Epstein started taking club employees to work for him, including Giuffre.
He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us.
And now Republicans also releasing 20,000 pages of documents. In one email, Epstein, after former Trump fixer Michael Cohen pleaded guilty to violating campaign finance laws, wrote, "I know how dirty Donald is." Trump has never been accused of any wrongdoing linked to Epstein. The administration now facing growing bipartisan pressure, with a new Democrat sworn in today becoming the critical 218th signature to force a House vote to release all of the DOJ's Epstein files.
I will sign the discharge petition right now to release the Epstein files. Justice cannot wait another day.
As for when the House might vote on whether to release the DOJ's Epstein files, Speaker Mike Johnson just said that he intends to bring the resolution to the floor next week. If it passes, it would then go to the Senate, where it's likely to fail. Still, the president has been ramping up pressure on Republicans. Top administration officials met today here in the